Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending today. If you have any questions during the presentation, go ahead and put them in the Q&A window at the top of your Teams toolbar. If you don't see the Q&A window, then put your questions in chat. We'll check both windows. And we will have a Q&A at the end, of course. So good afternoon for all of us, I think, except me. It's morning here. Welcome to Training Bytes. I'm Gina Thomas, the training manager here at C&K Systems, and your hostess for Training Bytes, a digestible approach to counterpoint training. And then, of course, we have Marty joining us today. He's a project lead here at C&K Systems, and he'll be on hand to help me answer questions.
Good afternoon and or morning.
Thank you, Marty. I think I'm the only morning one here. There's a feature built into Counterpoint that you don't have to pay extra for that a lot of people just don't know about, and it's called customer drop ship orders. So here's where it comes in handy. A customer comes in, you're out of stock of an item, and you need to order it from the vendor. So normally you order it from the vendor, it gets shipped to you, and either the customer comes back to the store and picks it up, or you ship it. But maybe the customer doesn't want to return back to the store to pick up the item. So the vendor drop ship, the customer drop ship assumes the merchandise is shipping directly from the vendor to the customer. That way the customer gets their order a lot faster than if they waited for you to receive it in. So when you don't use this feature, you might risk losing some sales and maybe have an unhappy customer. Or if you do it the old-fashioned way where you order it, receive it in, then again, you're going to spend payroll. Someone has to order the product, somebody has to receive in the product, pack it up, and ship it off to the customer. So we'll talk about drop ship customer orders today. They're pretty easy to use. There is some configuration. It's not difficult. I'll show you all the steps. We'll actually go through the whole process of creating a drop ship and see the corresponding drop ship reports. So just some basics. Items on a drop ship customer order ship directly from the vendor to the customer. As soon as the order is created, Counterpoint automatically generates a purchase request. Now, purchase requests for drop ships have their own batches, and you'll see that in a minute. But what's nice about it is that when you go into purchasing, there's a difference between just looking at your drop ship purchase request and then your regular store purchase request. So it's really nice. Now, ultimately, the vendor is going to ship the merchandise and let you know the merchandise has been shipped. And for auditing purposes, you will need to receive against the drop ship order, the drop ship purchase order itself. However, it has no effect on inventory. Doesn't affect even your committed values. So it doesn't affect your inventory like an order or a layaway. Drop ship orders must be paid in full at the time the order is created, and you must have a customer address, city, state, and zip code, and a name, because those are going to be required for your drop ship orders. So here's kind of big picture how the whole life cycle works. So it starts here at the top where customer comes in, you create a drop ship order, and then as soon as that order is completed, Counterpoint auto generates a purchase request. Then you'll just need to visit that purchase request and post it, so it becomes a PO that you can send to the vendor. And then at some point in time, you'll receive against that dropship PO, which ultimately will close out the customer order. But again, your inventory is never affected during this process. So there is quite a bit of configuration, a lot of switches you have to remember to enable. The first one is under Setup System Company. On the Other tab at the very bottom, there's a switch to allow drop ships. Then there's system security that needs to be enabled for groups that are going to be allowed to post the purchasing documents that are automatically created. So under Setup System Security Codes, call up the group that you want to allow to process the purchase request. Go to the Authorizations tab and enable Allow Access Dropship Purchasing Docs. So again, not tough on the configuration. There's just a lot of places you need to visit. Then we're going to need to enable point of sale security. So our groups of salespeople are allowed to add a dropship line to an order. So that's under Setup Point of Sale Security Codes. On the Orders tab, there is a switch to allow dropship lines. Then you'll need to visit your store settings. So under Setup Point of Sale Stores. And on the Lines tab, in the Unused Lines type box, which is on the left here, you'll see Dropship Order here by default. So it has to be moved over to Available Line Types. And then I recommend changing the line color of the drop ships because by default, the line color is very close in color to your orders, special order back orders. So we want it to stand out a little bit. And I also recommend enabling the discontinued warnings for dropship order lines. You can still place the item on a dropship order. You'll just get a warning about it. So when you go to that line switch in stores, this is what I changed it to. So by default, this dropship square here is a shade of blue. So all I did was I used this drop down here and I just chose a brighter color or something that wasn't close to blue or purple. Then in order to create dropship orders at point of sale, you're going to need a touchscreen button if you're using touchscreen ticket entry. And that's as easy as going into Setup Point of Sale, touchscreen codes, you find an empty button, you choose the action, add dropship order line, which also defaults to the caption. You can change caption if you want. And then down here under color, I usually select a color for the button that matches the color I selected for the lines. Okay, so let's go into the software and take a look at everything. So I'm going to start with the configuration, setup, system, company, and all the way over here to the right, the other tab. And then down here, this switch, you want to check allow drop shipments. Next, I'm going to visit my system security. So that's setup, system, security codes. And then I'm going to find the group or groups that I want to enable to process drop ship purchasing documents. And so that's here on the authorizations tab. And it's here in this little purchasing box. And it's the switch right here. So you might want to enable it for like, especially your back office people that do purchasing, but maybe not necessarily, your point of sale group. Okay. So then in order to allow our sales associates to create drop ship orders, we have to enable a point of sale security. So that's under setup, point of sale security codes. And again, you'll find your POS group maybe. Here I've got a POS group right here. And I'll just go to the orders tab and I will allow drop ship lines. And you want to enable this for any of these groups that do go into point of sale. Okay, next we're going to look at the store settings. So you're going to go to setup, point of sale, stores. See, told you there were a lot of settings. Okay, and I'm just going to find a store here by using my right facing arrow. You may have more than one store that you need to do this for, but I'm going to go to lines and notice this unused line type dropship order. So you can just double click on it or you can highlight it and click on the arrow. That's fine. And then down here, show discontinued item warnings. I usually enable this. You don't have to, but I usually do. Now the line colors. So if I go into this button, I want you to see where I clicked here, line colors. See how the drop ship order line is just so close in color to orders, back orders. So, I just want to make it stand out. So I'm going to use this drop down. Maybe I'll get a bigger color palette by clicking on other. I like orange. So I'll just click on the orange here. And so now my dropship order lines at point of sale will be orange. So pretty easy to spot. I'm going to go ahead and save my changes. And then we want to create a button at point of sale so we can actually create dropship customer orders. So if you go to setup, point of sale, and then go to touchscreen codes, and I'm using a touchscreen code called standard. I'll just click on my button. Now, if you have more than one design, you'll need to update all your designs. And you can actually copy your touchscreen buttons from one design to another. I'll show you that in a minute. So you want to find an empty button. So here I'm just clicking on the right on an empty button. I'm going to come here on my button editor and use the action add dropship order line. The caption, you can change this to whatever you like. And then I'm going to go ahead and pick the same color that I picked for the lines. And I'll just preview it. And there it is. Now, if you need to copy it to other touchscreen designs, you don't have to do it from scratch. You can actually, in the touchscreen design, click on the button, make sure it's, you got a bracket around it, and then click on copy. Now I'll exit from here and I'll save my standard, and then I can just switch to another design. So I'll go to my garden design here, and I can just click on an empty button and paste. So that's pretty simple. And yes, and keep in mind that if you do need to go into your touchscreen designer, you can't design in touchscreen while somebody's in point of sale. So that's something you have to do when someone's not ringing a sale. Okay, so let's see how this all looks from a point of sale perspective, purchasing and receiving. So I'm just going to go ahead and log into my touchscreen, put in my credentials. And I'm going to look up a customer. I'll just go ahead and look up myself. Okay, now I'm just going to click on my add dropship order line button. Notice my line is green here. It assumes I'm going to do a cash and carry sale. But when I click on this button, it turns pretty bright orange. So now I'm going to select an item. And I will just do let's do some golf balls. Okay. Now remember, the order does need to be paid in full. So if you just try to complete the order, Counterpoint's going to let you proceed. So you can go ahead and put it in your address. Now notice the address one, city, state, zip, these are all required fields. If your customer has an address, you can click on copy bill to address. Just populates the screen for you. Or maybe they have an additional address under ship to addresses. So you could pick the additional address if you like. Now remember, I didn't take any payment. I just clicked on completed. So see what happens down here? Counterpoint says you must pay the minimum. There is no minimum. The order must be paid in full. So I'll close this. I'll go to my payment screen. Maybe I'll charge it to AR. And so all you have to do here is just pay balance and click OK. And now when I complete, everything's nice and happy. Okay, and of course there's a receipt. Now, as soon as I completed that order, Counterpoint in the background generated a purchase request. So it's up to you to remember to review them and post them, whether it's daily, weekly, that's fine. So I'm just going to go to purchasing, purchase request, enter. Now, so this is different for most of you. If you're not used to having, if you don't have more than one store, you're not used to seeing store batches. So batch one represents my store and all my regular purchase orders that are not from drop ship orders. This batch here is where the purchase request specifically for customer dropship orders will be. So if I go into batch 1 here, you're going to see I have no black arrows. There's nothing here. And if I did have black arrows, the only thing that would be here are regular store purchase orders. But when I go into the dropship batch, see I have black arrows, so there's something here. I can go to the lookup and see there's a purchase request right there. Or I can just select it with my arrows. And notice it has a visual here. It's giving you, in bold, this is a drop ship purchase request. This is for a customer. And you can actually look at the customer order from here if you're not sure who ordered what. So if you just click on this link, takes you right to the order, takes you right to the lines tab so you can see what was purchased. But you can look at the bill to, the ship to. You can even look at the payment that was given for the order. That's one way to look at the order. Another way is to come here to lines. And if you just highlight the line, down here your customer order button will light up. And it's the same thing as clicking on the link. If we look at the ship to, notice the location's grayed out because it's not shipping to any of your locations. It's shipping to this customer. And you can update the order tab if you like. Now I'm just going to go ahead and post this. And I'll show you what the PO looks like. Okay, so you can see there's my vendor and there's where it's shipping to. And here's my company that actually placed the order. Okay, I'll go ahead and exit from here. Now, at some point in time, the vendor notifies you, oh, we sent that merchandise. And then you might say, oh, what was it that Gina bought again? Because they might say, oh, Gina bought it. And if you want to look at a customer record, this is kind of a nice feature too. Maybe you're looking at Gina's customer record here. And there's Gina right there. And I can zoom in on Gina from here, from account management, from point of sale. And my special purchases button lights up. Okay, so this is a direct result of the customer dropship order having a purchase request generated for it. And so if I click on the button, I can actually go look at the PO. I can see the ship to, order lines. I can actually go look at the order from here, the customer dropship order. There it is. Now, something worth noting about the purchase request that is generated from the dropship customer order, you cannot add to it. Counterpoint will stop you. So it's a standalone purchase request for that customer. You can't add items. All right, so now the merchandise is shipped and we need to complete our audit trail by going to purchasing and receiving and enter. Oh, you know what? But before I do that, let's look at another report because there's actually two of them. So you've been posting a lot of purchase requests for drop ships, and maybe you just want some comprehensive report of everything that's a drop ship order, a customer drop ship order that's on a purchase request. Two reports, both under point of sale, both under reports. One is the drop ship orders report. And notice it defaults to received, on purchase order, on purchase request. Well, I just want to see what's on a purchase order. If I just click on preview, here you go, customer item. Another report that you can run is called customer specific purchases report. So it's right here. If I click on it, it defaults to received. But again, I can say, I want to see drop ships on a purchase order. Maybe I want to see on a purchase request. And you'll probably want to filter for drop ship lines. Otherwise, you'll see other receivings or POs for purchase orders that were generated from orders, back orders, or special orders. And so there it is. Same customer, same item. Now we're actually ready to receive. So I'm going to go to purchasing and I'm going to go to receiving, then receiving enter. Now, unfortunately, the batches here don't work like they do with the purchase request. So no matter which batch I choose, I'm going to see all my open POs. So if I click on batch 1 and I auto assign, here's my pop-up purchase order lookup. And you can see I added a column here called is drop ship so I could distinguish between a regular purchase order and a customer drop ship order. So you could see here, it's right here. And then again, if I go back here, if I choose the drop ship batch, I get the same lookup. So what I did is I customized 2 lookups. So I don't have to sort or look around. So what I did is I created a lookup for just drop ship POs and then non-drop ship. And it's pretty easy. All you have to do is go to options, go to filter, right click customize, add a condition that says is drop ship equals no, click OK, let the filter run, and then save it. So you don't have to do that every single time. So if you go to options, save as, you'd give it a name like I did, non-dropship PO, click OK. Okay. And then the same thing for the dropship. I'll just start here at my default. So if I want a lookup dedicated to dropship, customer dropship orders, options, filter, I'm going to right click customize. I'm going to click here to add a condition. I'm going to click on this condition in red. I'm going to type an I on my keyboard, is drop ship. Now I'm going to simplify the filter before I put in any criteria by right clicking, simplify, and then I can just use this drop down and say yes. And now I'm looking at a filtered view of just my drop ship customer orders. So now I want to save it. So I just go to options, save as, and I'll just overwrite the other one, drop ship. Normally we would just free type drop ship and then click OK. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and process this. I'll click OK. Notice that this pop-up window that you typically get during receiving, it's grayed out. You can't leave anything to back order or you can't default a quantity to 0. Again, just like on the purchase request, I get a bold reminder here about what I'm looking at. I can click on this link to look at the customer order, or I can go to lines and highlight the line and view the customer order from here, but I cannot add additional items. So if I try and add something, I'll add this pretzel. And this is what's going to happen if you try to add an item to a purchase request. That's, a drop ship customer purchase request. Counterpoint's just not going to let you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and post this. Now, again, remember, posting this has no effect on your inventory. It's just creating an audit trail for you. Now, there are 2 reports that are supposed to show you what you received, the receivers that you posted for dropship orders, but they're not working. And I'll show you what I mean, just so if you poke around in here and look at this. Point of sale report, same 2 reports I ran before. Dropship orders report. If I just let this focus on receiving, it just won't return anything. I think it's broken. And the same thing with the customer specific purchases. If I just set this to received, now if I preview it now and I did any receiving for orders, back orders, special orders, I'll see that here. But my dropship orders will not show up, even if I filter for the dropship lines. Oh, where is it? Right here. Even if I come here and say, yeah, just look at my dropship lines, won't show me my receiving. So there is a workaround and it's pretty easy. If you want a report of the receivings that were posted based on customer dropship orders, you're going to stay here in purchasing and reports, but you're going to go to your history reports. And you're going to come here. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in point of sale. You're going to go to purchasing and reports and history. And then you're going to click on receivings history. And then what I did is I modified the receiving history tab to include is drop ship, because by default it's not there. Right click, customize, click here to add a condition, click on the condition, type in I, find is drop ship. Easy. Okay, so I would just use this drop down and click on yes, and probably put in a date range. What receivers have I posted month to date that were for drop ship customer orders? Maybe I want to follow up with the customers, make sure they got their product and they were happy. And so here you are. Okay, so with that being said, let's come back here. So hopefully after this session, you know how to enable the dropship features so that you can use customer dropship orders. You understand the life cycle of a dropship order and the fact that it never affects your inventory. And a couple of dropship order reports. Oh, there is one thing I did forget. I forgot the quirky thing that Counterpoint does. So there is this quirkiness with the dropship orders once you post the receiving, because Counterpoint needs a way to close out the dropship order in point of sale. And so every time you post a receiving from a dropship order, Counterpoint actually opens a drawer, counts a drawer, and reconciles a drawer and leaves it in a reconciled state. So I'll give you a visual on that. Point of sale, drawers, drawer management. So here is the drawer that was opened, counted, reconciled, and closed just from posting that receiving. So it does have to be posted. You can post it at the end of the night with the rest of your drawers, or you can come here and just post it individually. But the quirkiness is this. Let's say you posted 20 receivings that were from customer dropship orders. You're going to have 20 reconciled sessions in this window. But again, it's not hard to post them. All right, so now back to the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so the dropship order report, the customer specific report, they're great for viewing items on a purchase request or a purchase order that are customer dropship related, but not so helpful for receiving. So use your receiving history report for that. Okay, on Friday, you'll get a link to the recording. With the link will be a survey, so let us know how we did and give me any topic suggestions you have for next year. If you want to fill out the survey today, and you can remain anonymous, by the way, you can go to our website, www.cksystem.com/training bytes survey. On May 1st, we're going to stick in the theme of some purchasing here. I'm going to talk about customer specific purchasing. Remember, we looked at a report related to this. A lot of you that are order heavy, orders, back orders, special orders, how do you keep track of what you need to order for your customers? Well, there's a process built into Counterpoint for that. And it starts with, the order being placed at point of sale, running a report to see what you need to order for customers to satisfy the point of sale order, generating the purchase request, and then the accompanying reporting. So it's a very nice feature. So be sure you attend, especially if you're order heavy. And if you want custom training tailored to your business, give me a call. Main number extension 3. Email me training@cksystem.com. And with that, let's take a look in the Q&A at our. Oh, look, we had more people join. Yay!
Gina, I did not see any questions.
Oh, I thought I saw my chat bubble, but I don't
You
see maybe.
did, but I don't think it was from anyone from our meeting. I saw a comment from Ed in there, and I don't know where it came
Oh,
from and
that's
how it got
funny.
into our chat.
I have no idea. Except that the chat does open up in Teams, so that might be there.
Yeah, he could have been in the
Okay.
wrong teams.
Yep. Could be. Okay, yeah, I don't see anything either, chat or in the Q&A. Okay. Well, everyone, this large crowd, thank you for your time. Thanks for attending. If you want to enable those dropship features or you get stuck on something, just log a support ticket. Anyone can help you out. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks again for your time.